life. So, yeah. But still the problem is, in the midst of life, remembering Stoic virtues, or virtues in general, whether you believe, quote unquote, in Stoicism or you follow Stoicism, I guess we all have certain values in life, and we all want to be a certain person in life. And it certainly it certainly is difficult to remember that and to remind yourself, especially of that in those very brief moments when you just want to escalate, when you just want to be a certain person, to step back and try to tell yourself, well, this is not the person that I want to be. This is not the person that I want to be remembered as. I want to be a certain person, and I think one of the most important things, therefore, is to actually indeed just step back. Remembering that things are actually not as serious as you might think they are. Remembering that everything is quite fine, and that you're just a bit overwhelmed. That everything is going to be fine in the future when you have calmed down a little tiny bit. But it is difficult, as I said. It really, really tremendously is difficult to remember yourself of the fact that everything is fine. But I would say, and I would certainly also suggest myself too, when I feel like, okay, I'm about to do something that I'm not going to be proud of afterwards, that I freeze, maybe. Just freeze. Even when somebody is talking to me, this might not be polite, but throughout my life, I've actually also seen that saying, okay, please do not say anything. Please just be quiet, or I'm going to explode. I think that I've actually said it in these exact words. The outcome was just not very beneficial. On the other hand, obviously, when you're freezing, you're not saying anything, you're just staring at the other person that is talking to you. Just think about this situation, and I just think about the situation. I just try to really be in that situation. Might not also be that easy then, if you're saying to this person, okay, I just don't want to talk right now because I'm going to say something I'm not going to be proud of afterwards. Well, what is this person going to think? This person going to probably say, well, what is wrong with you? But besides the fact that you shouldn't really care about what anyone thinks about you, and I mean anyone but you. Of course, I do understand, and I think it may also be beneficial to care about certain people's opinion. For example, very close friends, people that you actually like a lot and that you appreciate, and of course, their opinion is going to be rather important to you and of significance. But what my name is, I just haven't seen it. Are you still there? Because I do not really know. I kind of feel like it is the case. So if you're there, my name is Christopher. As you can also see, I guess somewhere. Yes, Christopher Walch. This is my name. But you're probably not there anymore, I guess. Maybe the case. But I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. Well, have I saved this? Yes, I have. Do you hear this? Probably. Oh, good. so beneficial. This stream is tremendously beneficial. No, I want to make it something beneficial. I want to, indeed, my new goal is for, first of all, a podcast and all other social media ventures that I have started throughout the years, is to make them and create them into something that I am really proud of, something that I want to actually share with people, something that I can present to somebody and say, okay, this is what I did. To some degree, I can do so. Merely regarding the volume and mass of things that I did, and also just all the different kinds of things that I did. Why isn't this working now? Because this is certainly not going to be the case. I see. I see. This looks better. What did I talk about there? Being honest to oneself. Being honest to oneself is very important. But a problem is, what is being honest? Since your reality might be really distorted, which can lead just to really bad outcomes. If you really think that you are a certain person, that you are well, good, or maybe even bad, then this is the case, because you think this is the case. Whether this really is the case, well, is up to many factors. Of course, when you ask somebody, what is their reality? Also, on the other hand, does their reality even matter to you? Should this person's reality even matter to you? Because this is not your reality anyway, and this person is just having an outside view of yourself, which, actually very often is just really wrong. Also, pretty close friends that I'm having, people that I'm probably in contact with very often, and that know me and have been knowing me for quite some time, they still just not necessarily know everything about me, not necessarily regarding the past, but regarding the future. Meaning, okay, what is this person gonna do right now? They maybe don't know, or if I say, well, I'm just a piece of shit, then well, they say no, or maybe they say yes, regarding what they feel and what they have seen and how they see the world and how they view things. This is kind of the problem in general. Our subjectivity, us being quite unable to really be objective. Nobody can really be objective, which is a pity to some degree, because it would be quite cool to be able to do so, or to be able to be that. But well, anyway, let's have a look at the Stoicism subreddit. I guess it is this one. It is amazing that the most perfect critique of social media was written by the philosopher Epictetus 2,000 years ago. Most of what passes for legitimate entertainment is inferior or foolish and only caters to or exploits people's weakness. I'm gonna read, because I do have a really strong opinion when it comes to social media, and I also tend to honestly really hate critiquing social media, because most often they are based on certain things that, at least at my point of view, of course we all have a point of view, do not make much sense and or are very close-minded to some degree, not just going through all those different facets, all those different versions of life and of people especially as well. Anyway, so most of what passes for legitimate entertainment is inferior, foolish, and only caters to or exploits people's weakness. Avoid being one of the mob who indulges in such pastimes. Your life is too short and you have important things to do. Be discriminating about what images and ideas you permit into your mind. If you yourself don't choose what thoughts and images you expose yourself to, someone else will, and their motives may not be the highest. It is the easiest thing in the world to slide imperceptibility, into vulgarity. But there is no need for that to happen if you determine not to waste your time and attention on mindless pep. Well, basically saying what he says, and I'm going to quote it once again: be discriminating about what images and ideas you permit into your mind. You permit into your mind. What does he say? What he says is, you should be conscious about those things that you see, those things that you probably also read, just those images, those stories that you tell yourself. You should be conscious of the fact that they can serve you and really harm you. And it doesn't really make sense to have stories in your head, have images in your head that do not serve you. Well, if I'm scrolling through social media and I, for example, see somebody that really looks good, apparently has a really great life, well, does this mean that I immediately gonna feel bad about that? Well, no, because I can choose to do so. I can permit the story to be in my head. But I can also just say, well, no, this is not going to be in my head. Period. And this is exactly what he said as well. At least this is my interpretation of what he said there. And this just also clearly makes sense for me. Okay, I'm going through social media. I may see some things that piss me off, but still in the really end, I decide whether these things piss me off or not. It's not about social media, it is about me. Probably also my character, probably also my insecurities, probably also my weaknesses, and probably also some other things, But in the end, we decide how we feel about things. It is not this person that let us feel a certain way. And I would certainly also argue that Stoicism is talking about that as well, to some degree. At least Viktor Frankl did, There's always a little tiny bit of space in between situation and reaction. This little tiny space is us deciding how we're going to react. And in the end, we can always choose how we react. Of course, if you clearly see and notice that social media is not serving you at all, don't use it. Or don't follow those certain people. Don't use the Discover page. Do not use the For You page. Just use follower. Or the people that you follow. You know what I mean. Just choose that. Period. It's going to be fine. What's the problem then? Please provide a citation. It helps users find the code context and it's required by some rules. Incredibly true quotation. It blows my mind I can't excuse Facebook from the damage it has helped perpetrate, but this is Ginsburg being problem for... What's Ginsburg being problem? Can you explain the terms you used? Well, might actually be a spelling mistake, but the thing is, and I actually really do not like to see that to some degree, because I think this just points out weakness. I admit that there is a power that, something else. I admit that there is a power that is harming me, and I also admit that it is pissing me off. It is... I'm just thinking, is this something that I am in control of? Well, this is now very difficult. I, on one hand, am in control of the fact that I am using social media. But I've seen something about... There was a situation and this person did something, and in the end this person was angry about the fact that it exists and whatnot, and this is basically what this is. At least for me, this is my opinion now. people writing about social media and being like, okay, it is so bad. Okay, cool, period. Great, well done. Thank you for pointing that out. Anyway, let's actually see the problems with social media, just the problems with humans amplified. That amplification is not natural though. This is evolution, motherfuckers. Certain things, there isn't a lot that pisses me off, especially when it is on the internet. Most often I really do not care about anything. But I would just like to, I don't know, like people to see the things that I'm talking about right now, and I don't know, maybe give them something to think about. I do not necessarily want to say that I'm, I don't know, Jesus and I know everything and whatnot, but relying, well, a lot of things that we have to deal with as well, not necessarily in terms of society, because social media, I would say, is a part of society. But, let's talk about diseases, Certainly there are some new diseases, some new mutations, fucking COVID, that we have to deal with right now, and this is just, well, it is natural, but it wasn't back in the days, which is kind of what this person is referring to, This amplification is not natural. It is something that should not happen. But guess what? This is evolution. And we can, on one hand, decide to be unhappy about it and feel overwhelmed and feel like how do you say that? I can basically feel that social media is like this overly great power, and I'm just gonna be, I'm gonna Google it. And I'm suppressed, right? I'm suppressed by it and I feel so bad because of it, or I just learn how to deal with it. And this certainly is not what these people are doing. Quite. Shouldn't actually get that pissed off. We all can learn to deal with things. And I think it is actually very useful. Also regarding the future, because guess what? I guess social media is not going to be just over in the future, Probably going to be there in a different way, I'd say. Well, there's actually, thanks a lot. People said that amplification is not natural though. Neither are shoes, most medicine, or life-saving surgeries. The idea of something being bad because it is not natural is a fallacy of logic. I'm not saying social media is good or even comparable to those things, but we can't dismiss it just because it is not natural. A poster didn't claim SM was natural on social media. The claim is the amplification isn't, which is true. It's built to increase one's usage and take advantage of people's predilections and amplify them. The algorithms are programmed to take advantage of the worst parts of people's psyches. Well, yeah, then just don't use it. Period, I don't know, like this, it is not even a conversation about trying to help people see that social media is bad. This is just pointing it out that it is bad, and just making a statement. Well, it is bad, period. And this certainly is not helping anyone, as it is just mindlessly pointing out that something else is bad. Shoes are bad. Okay, my opinion is that shoes are bad. So this is what it is. This is just my opinion. Bad argument, I know. Or, good point, it is not natural and it's harmful. Also, people behave very differently during an in-person human-to-human interaction that they do when there is an artificial intermediary. Well, I could also argue, I guess, when you're wearing a mask, maybe it is Halloween, people don't know you, people don't see you, maybe, probably, you're also gonna act differently, just because nobody knows that you are you. Could be the case, I don't fucking know, just arguing. That is not why there is a screen for Catholics, blah, 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 blah. And here we sit on social media and discuss this, so it is not all negative. It is exactly what Epictetus states. Thank you. Be discriminating. Don't waste time on junk, choose quality. And Seneca would for sure agree that we also need some entertainment for our mind and soul at times. We can't always be 100%, I would actually like to put that into quotation marks, natural. That is not being human. But indulging oneself so it becomes an obsession, letting the animal mind control every action, that is the issue. It is very much possible to enjoy social media, TV, music, games, cannabis, wine, and other things and still be virtuous. And Seneca would for sure agree that blah, blah, blah. I have this St. Thomas Aquinas quote on my Facebook page of all places. Just as man needs bodily rest for the body's refreshment because he cannot always be at work since his power is finite and equal to certain fixed amount of labor, so too is it with his soul, whose power is also finite and equal to a fixed amount of work. Yes, and actually a lot of people agreeing with that. And, this is basically also what I meant. Epictetus himself, in the quote that was stated above from the original author, is exactly what it is all about. You can choose what you let into your mind, period. Whatever it is about. Of course, the things that you might be seeing on social media are not in your control, you can't choose, but you certainly can, Of course, if you are on the Discover page and whatnot, or just exploring social media, well, you're going to see certain things, period. But as I said, you can use it in a way that is just not going to harm you, or probably not going to harm you. And once you see somebody posting something that does not serve you, well, try to build that mental strength to combat that and not feel depressed and suppressed by that. I don't know, but that's just my opinion, The problem that I'm having with it is that it puts somebody in a position of helplessness. Okay, wow, this is social media. It is so bad, I can't do anything about it. Well, you can, On one hand, just don't use it. On the other hand, try to learn how to use it so that it is good for you, that it is serving you. I don't know, but I would actually like to end this stream on that high note. Thank you very much for listening, watching. Please maybe subscribe or like, or wherever you're seeing this. Maybe it is on any social media site. I'm going to see you next time. So, bye-bye.